You've been visualizing the life you want, closing your eyes, feeling the emotions, seeing every detail, but nothing lands. Here's why. Visualization doesn't manifest reality. Frequency does. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you imagine. It responds to what you are, the signal you broadcast through your breath, your choices, your nervous system. You can visualize abundance while your body contracts in fear every time you pay a bill. The field picks up the contraction, not the vision. This is the gap no one talks about. This video shows you how to close it, not by visualizing harder, but by becoming the frequency of already having it. You'll learn to act as if without faking it, to hold the signal until the field has no choice but to mirror it back. Not someday, right now.
You've been visualizing it again and again. You close your eyes, feel the emotion, imagine the future, and then nothing changes. Or maybe it changes for a moment, a glimpse, a shift, a tiny confirmation, and then you're back in the same loop. The same thoughts, the same space. If you've ever wondered why it feels like your vision is powerful but not landing, this is why. Visualization doesn't manifest reality. Frequency does. There's a quantum difference between imagining a future and broadcasting it, between seeing what you want and becoming the version of yourself who already lives it. In the quantum field, visualization is only a small part of the equation. The real key, the hidden code, is your frequency. And unless that frequency matches the reality you're calling in, it stays just out of reach no matter how vividly you see it. You've been told to ask, believe, receive. But in truth, the field doesn't respond to requests. It responds to coherence, to energetic integrity, to your embodied signal, not the one you project in meditation, but the one you carry in your breath, your choices, your emotions. Because the universe isn't listening to what you say, it's listening to what you are. That's the code. And once you understand it, once you see how subtle the shift really is, everything begins to change. Not because you tried harder or thought more positively, but because you stopped chasing, you stopped asking, you stopped reinforcing the idea that your dream life was far away, and instead, you started treating it like a frequency you could step into. Now, this frequency, the one that unlocks the reality you've been visualizing, is not theoretical. It's not abstract. It's vibrational. And it has a specific texture to it, a calm certainty, a steady rhythm. It doesn't rush. It doesn't crave. It doesn't wonder when things will finally shift. It already knows. Because when you act from the identity of someone who has already received, the field adjusts. Because it must. So why does that shift feel so difficult? Why is it so easy to visualize something beautiful and so hard to hold the energy of already mine? Because everything in your past has trained you to vibrate in the frequency of not yet. You've been programmed to wait, to earn, to prepare, to deserve. And now, for the first time, you're being asked to abandon all of that and simply embody what once felt like a distant dream. It feels unnatural at first. It feels like lying to yourself. But that's only because your nervous system hasn't caught up to your truth. Because this frequency we're stepping into, it's not new to your soul. It's just unfamiliar to your body. And part of this journey is teaching your body what your soul already knows. You're not chasing your future. You're remembering your alignment with it. You might be thinking, but how do I stay in that frequency when nothing around me has changed yet? The answer is, you become the change first. You decide that your vibration leads, and the evidence follows. You shift your focus from what's missing to what's already here, from what you want to what you are. And as you do that, day after day, a new energy takes root, one that doesn't collapse under pressure, one that doesn't dissolve when the world gets loud again. It becomes your baseline. And that's when the field begins to bend toward you, not because you forced it, but because you finally matched it. This is what we're going to explore in this video. Not just the idea of manifestation, but the frequency that actually unlocks the life you've been visualizing. We'll talk about how to shift out of the cycle of lack and into the vibration of embodiment. How to act as if, without faking it. How to move like it's already yours, not because you're trying to impress the universe, but because you're finally living in harmony with it. Because there is a code, a precise, energetic rhythm, and once you learn how to tune into it, everything around you starts to respond gently, powerfully, and consistently. Are you ready to remember what it feels like to be a match for the reality you've always seen in your heart? Then let's begin. Let's make something clear right now. The quantum field doesn't care about what you want. It responds to what you are. It doesn't decode your vision board. It doesn't weigh your intentions or count how many affirmations you repeat. It simply mirrors the frequency you're broadcasting. And that frequency isn't it means if you visualize abundance but live from fear of spending, your field is receiving fear. If you visualize love but reject compliments or push intimacy away, your field is registering resistance. If you visualize expansion but speak about your life like you're stuck, your field believes you. Because the field doesn't interpret your dreams, it reads your coherence. This is why so many people feel frustrated on the manifestation path. They're doing everything right, meditating, journaling, scripting, visualizing, and still things don't land. Why? Because their thoughts and emotions aren't aligned. They're trying to manifest from the mind while the body is still signaling fear, unworthiness, or survival mode. The result? Mixed signals. And the quantum field mirrors that static. Now, here's where the shift happens. When your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions say the same thing, the field has no choice but to reflect that back. This is called coherence. And in that state, your frequency becomes stable, strong, magnetic. That's when reality starts to rearrange itself. Think about it this way. Desire without identity is just noise. But when your identity and your desire merge, your signal becomes pure. And the field doesn't respond to desire. It responds to certainty. So how do we step into that certainty, especially when there's no evidence yet? You create the evidence. Not outside you, within you. You begin showing up as the version of yourself that already lives the reality you've been visualizing. You stop waiting to feel successful and start dressing, speaking, walking like someone who is. Not because you're faking it, but because you're remembering who you actually are beneath the doubt. Neville Goddard called this living from the end. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it firing and wiring new patterns in your brain and body. Greg Braden refers to it as emotional coherence. But the essence is the same. You stop trying to become and start being. That's the quantum frequency we're talking about. It's not something you chase. It's something you choose to inhabit, again and again, until your nervous system gets used to it. Until your self-talk stops sabotaging it. Until it becomes so natural you can't even remember what it felt like to vibrate in lack. And yes, it takes courage. Because stepping into that version of yourself before the world reflects it back can feel lonely, disorienting, and even fake at first. But that's just your past identity trying to protect its place in your energy field. Let it be there. Acknowledge it. But don't let it drive. You're the signal now. You become the calibration point. You become the source of the shift, not the result of it. You become the reality. This isn't about faking confidence. It's about finding the frequency of already being and living from that. It's about training your system to feel safe in the space of enough. Because when your subconscious feels safe, your energy expands. And when your energy expands, the field responds. So if you've been trying, forcing, looping, let that go. You're not here to work harder for your dreams. You're here to recognize that the version of you who already lives them isn't far away. It's just on a different frequency, a more stable one, a more embodied one. And that version, it already knows how to move, speak, decide, and feel like it's done, because for them, it is. Let's go meet them. We've reached the part that most people misunderstand, and it's where everything truly shifts. Acting as if. Those three words have been misunderstood, oversimplified, even mocked, because on the surface, they sound like pretending, like forcing, like you're putting on a costume and hoping the universe buys it. But in truth, acting as if is not pretending, it's frequency training. When you act as if it's already yours, you are aligning your body with your desired signal before the world gives you permission. You're not waiting for proof, you're becoming the proof. And in doing so, you're sending a clear, steady message to the field. I'm ready. I've arrived. Match me. This is not easy, because your environment might still reflect the old you. Your bank account might still echo scarcity. Your relationships might still mirror older patterns. And yet you're being asked to act from the new frequency anyway. Why? Because that's how energy collapses into form. Not through waiting, through identity. So how do you do it? Start small. You don't need to overhaul your life. You need to change the... This isn't about aesthetics. It's about energetic posture. Would you still shrink your energy in certain rooms? Would you still apologize for your truth? Would you still abandon your intuition just to maintain harmony? Or would you begin choosing like someone who trusts themselves deeply? Like someone who no longer needs to get the thing because they've already become the version of themselves who has it. You see, when you shift your signal, everything downstream begins to adjust. That's why some people call this quantum shifting. Because your choices, subtle as they seem, act like pebbles dropped into the field, creating ripples far beyond what your eyes can see. So instead of asking, when will it happen? Ask, how would I move today if I knew it already had? This is where your behavior stops being reactive and starts being magnetic. When your words, tone, and presence begin to match the reality you've been visualizing, you're no longer trying to attract something. You're simply embodying the version of you that's already in alignment. And here's what's wild. You'll notice the field starts responding. People treat you differently. New ideas arrive. Coincidences line up. Not because the universe suddenly favored you, but because your signal got strong enough to pierce through the noise. You stopped leaking energy into someday and started embodying now. This is coherence. This is how manifestation actually works. Not by begging or scripting or manifesting harder, but by becoming the signal your future self already lives from. And yes, the mind will try to interrupt. It will say, but we don't have that yet. It will ask, aren't you afraid? You're being unrealistic. That's not your truth. That's your past trying to keep you small. Let it speak, and then keep going. Because this isn't about convincing anyone else. It's about training your field to believe what your soul already knows. So today, speak one sentence like it's already done. Make one choice like you're already there. Take one step like it's already yours. Because the more you act like it's already yours, the more the field believes you. And when the field believes you, reality bends to meet your signal. In the comments, drop one word that captures the energy you're stepping into today. Trust, flow, abundance, clarity. Your word matters. Let it be a quantum seed you plant, not just here, but in the field itself. There are moments in your journey where everything feels suspended. You've done the inner work. You've stabilized your energy. You've stopped chasing. And yet nothing big seems to happen. But deep within, something feels different. Your thoughts are quieter. Your nervous system feels safer. You start to notice tiny shifts in how you react to the world. And then it happens. A number appears, repeated effortlessly. 3 digits that seem to follow you across days, places, devices, clocks, receipts. It's 777. You might glance at it and brush it off as coincidence, but part of you, the part that's more attuned now, knows it's not random. It's a message, a subtle activation, a vibrational mirror. You weren't looking for a sign, and that's exactly why it came. Because the field doesn't respond to neediness, it responds to resonance. And 7, 7. 7 only appears when your field is aligned deeply enough for the quantum to whisper back. It's not announcing that your manifestation is on the way. It's telling you that you've become a vibrational match for what's already been circling you. That the energetic seed you planted, sometimes with intention, sometimes through quiet presence, is now vibrating at the frequency of bloom. In spiritual traditions, the number 7 carries sacred symbolism. It's linked to divine truth, intuition, inner mastery. When it triples, it transcends numerology. It becomes a vibrational signature of coherence, not of perfection, but of congruence. It signals that your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions are no longer contradicting each other. You're no longer trying to manifest a reality from a body that doesn't feel safe to receive it. You're no longer imagining with your mind while your heart signals doubt. You've come into harmony, perhaps not constantly, but consistently enough to alter your timeline. In quantum terms, 7, 7, 7 appears when the wave of potential is close to collapsing. You're still inside the field of infinite outcomes, but your signal is pulling reality toward one specific expression, the one you've been tuning to through your emotional steadiness and internal reprogramming. The field has heard you, not through words, but through frequency. And this number is not a reward, it's a resonance echo. It appears not to give you something, but to reflect what you've already become. But this moment isn't about stepping away, it's about anchoring deeper. It's a threshold, and your role isn't to celebrate prematurely or return to passivity. Your role is to hold the signal, stay in the current, let the field keep sinking to you without interruption. You've heard that manifestations happen all of a sudden, but nothing in the quantum happens suddenly. What feels instant in the physical realm was built slowly in the invisible. 7, 7, 7 marks that tipping point, the subtle balance between intention and inevitability. The place where your reality isn't coming toward you anymore. It's forming around you. And yet 7, 7, 7 is more than a sign of alignment. It's also an invitation to deepen your presence, to stop searching and start embodying, to notice how your body feels in this moment, right now, and ask, is this how the version of me who lives that reality would feel? Would they rush? Would they doubt? Or would they trust the structure forming beneath the surface? Because that's what this is, a structural shift. You're not manifesting an outcome. You're rewiring the foundation of who you are, how you think, feel, move, speak, decide. The field is responding to that identity, and the number isn't telling you what's next. It's confirming what's here. And if you feel that not just conceptually, but energetically, if something in you recognizes this message as timely, as precise, as true, then take a breath and let your system receive it. Let your nervous system feel safe in this confirmation. Let your heart soften into this knowing that you're no longer becoming aligned. You already are. That the shift isn't coming. It's stabilizing. That what you visualized isn't a dream waiting to be reached. It's a frequency you've finally tuned into. And if you want to make that resonance real, not just within yourself, but in the shared field of everyone watching, then leave a comment below with 777. Not because it's a lucky charm, but because it's a declaration, a quiet way of saying, I feel it, I remember, I'm aligned. Sometimes numbers are just numbers, but sometimes they're a language, a mirror, a code, a truth you're finally ready to live. Maybe no one told you this, but manifestation is not the art of getting what you want. It's the art of remembering who you are. And every frequency you've been trying to access, abundance, peace, purpose, love, already exists inside that remembrance. It's not outside of you, waiting to be earned. It's within you, waiting to be stabilized. The truth is, you've already touched it before. You've had glimpses, flashes of alignment, moments when time dissolved and you felt completely at peace for no apparent reason. Moments when your heart opened without permission, when the right words flowed, When you made a decision that felt like it came from somewhere deeper. Those weren't accidents. They were previews of the self you're becoming more often, and the life that version of you naturally attracts. Quantum manifestation isn't about forcing those moments to happen more frequently. It's about expanding your capacity to stay in them, to make those states your baseline, to become someone who doesn't need to visualize because you're already resonating with what you used to imagine. And that shift isn't something you'll feel overnight, but it is something you'll recognize in the subtle ways life begins to respond. A conversation that feels unusually aligned, a sense of inner calm in the middle of chaos, a decision made without overthinking. These are the signs that your signal is stabilizing, that you're no longer reaching for the field. You're part of it, merged with it, emitting a frequency that no longer negotiates with the past. And this is important, because the old identity will still whisper. It'll say, "You're not ready. Who do you think you are? You need proof first." It'll invite you to collapse back into your history. And every time you notice it, you'll have a choice. Do I play out the old timeline again? Or do I hold the new one for just one more breath? That's where your power lives now. Not in how loud you are or how fast you move, but in how consistently you can stay in the energy of already mine. Not to impress anyone, not to trick the field, but because that's who you are now. You're not searching for signs, you're becoming one. You're not performing worthiness, you're embodying it. And the universe doesn't need to be convinced. It simply responds. This is what it means to truly manifest. Not to bend the world to your will, but to match your inner state so precisely that the world mirrors you back in detail. Not because you're manipulating matter, because you realize you're no longer chasing anything. You're allowing, you're receiving, you're witnessing your own energy returning to you in the form of people, opportunities, clarity, and beauty. There is no greater shift than that. And the more you return to it again and again, the more your nervous system learns that it's safe to live here. Not just visit this frequency, but reside in it. To make this alignment your home. Not because life is perfect, but because your coherence no longer depends on the outside world. You've internalized the field. You've learned to trust it, and it trusts you back. So take a breath right now, a real one. Let yourself receive all of this. Let it settle into your system, not as new information, but as remembered truth. Feel your energy soften into the awareness that you've already changed. You're not waiting for the quantum shift. You are the quantum shift. And if something in this video met you at just the right moment, if it helped you connect a piece that's been floating just out of reach, then maybe this isn't just content. Maybe it's a mirror, a reflection of who you're becoming, a reminder that the frequency you've been visualizing isn't theoretical, it's vibrational, and you're finally living in it. If that feels true, if it resonates, then I invite you to stay connected with this space. To subscribe not because you're supposed to, but because it aligns. Because this isn't a channel, it's a frequency. And if you found yourself breathing differently while watching, you're already in it. If you're a conscious creator, hit like and subscribe. This is not just a channel, this is a community of conscious creators, learning to live in coherence with the reality they know is possible. Hit subscribe and the bell icon. We're not just watching videos here, we're practicing new timelines. We're not just consuming, we're collapsing possibility into form. We're not just learning, we're remembering. And I'm glad you're here. Let's keep shifting together. Make sure you share this video with your loved ones. Remember, you're not just sharing, you're spreading transformation. And that energy will help you manifest what you commented earlier. Send this to that one friend who really needs to hear this. You know the one? Sharing this might just change someone's whole week. Be that person. Like if you felt it, share it with someone who needs it. And comment 777 to lock it in. Oh, and subscribe, because this is just the beginning.